Welcome back. Around the world, communities face immense challenges, from natural disasters to climate change and even social issues like crime and inequality. But there's a group of young adults stepping up to make a difference, students who believe in the power of collective action. ASEZ is an international group consisting of university student volunteers who act to address the pressing needs of communities around the world. Joining us to tell us more is ASEZ Church of God Student Volunteer Group's Regional Director, Victor Lozada, and ASEZ Student Volunteers, Yuriely, Taveras, and Elisa, Ureña. Thank you all so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Now, Victor, can you share the origins of ASEZ and how it has grown to operate in over 175 countries?
Yeah, so ASEZ are the student volunteers group of the World Mission Society Church of God, which was founded in 1964 by Christ Sang. And the premise of it was to be the salt and the light of the earth, taking action to improve our communities. So after learning that in the church, in 2015, the students decided to bring that to their colleges and universities. And so they started ASEZ, which is acronym for Save the Earth from A to Z. We just played around with the letters, put the A at the beginning and the Z at the end, just like in the alphabet. And then they wanted to bring what they learned in church to their campus so that other people outside of just our church can also participate in taking action in these. So throughout the world, there's about 175 countries where the church is located, with about 7,500 churches. And this year actually is our 60th anniversary.
That's amazing.
1964 it was founded. So we're very pleased to have achieved such a success throughout the world. And it's how we've been able to manage expanding the group and the activities that we carry out.
Now, can you just quickly let us know, how does ASEZ engage university students to become future leaders in their communities and beyond?
So it teaches the students to understand the problems that are facing the community. So we do that by having meetings with local leaders, police officers, police chiefs, assemblymen, councilors, senators, even just their school president and different community leaders, so that they can get engaged and understand what's happening. And then we after we identify the problem, we make tasks that students can take, small bites to the big apple. And then through that, they can learn how to operate and partake. And later on, as they move on from college, they can carry that out at their workforce, or they can venture into other parts of government or any kind of leadership role. They can see themselves making a difference.
That's amazing. And Yuriely and Elisa, I'm curious to know what inspired you to get involved.
For starters, I've always had a passion for seeing a difference in my community. One thing I would say is it's a satisfaction to see a change in your community and to know that you made that change as well. It's a great feeling.
That's amazing. And for you?
Hi. So for me, I've always been passionate about making an impact and a difference in the world, but I never was sure where to fit in. But through ASEZ, I realized that not only was I making a difference in my community, but also worldwide through the cleanups, through the partnerships that we have, and meeting with public officials. It's really been a great difference to me.
That's amazing. Now, I know that being a college student, it's a lot of work. It definitely takes effort. But how do you balance your academic responsibilities with your volunteer work?
Yeah, it's no secret that we do get a lot of work, and it's a balance of not only school life, but also your personal life and things you go through. But being a part of ASEZ, you are around a community of people that love doing the same thing you are passionate about. And so it's easy, it's challenging, it's a balance, but you find the core values through being a part of ASEZ, because with ASEZ you learn how to balance both your physical life as well as being a part of the community. I think you learn good values about time management, and that's what's the most important as being a part of, being a student.
That's amazing. And for you?
Yeah, I agree. Through ASEZ, I really learned the importance of time management, because being a college student, also working and then volunteering, from a glance, it sounds like a lot, but ASEZ really taught me a lot about time management and also being that I have a purpose and I'm very passionate about it, it doesn't feel like a burden to me. Like I don't feel like stressed out, but I'm like, okay, I know whatever I'm doing in school is gonna bring value to what I do in ASEZ, and what I'm doing in ASEZ is gonna bring value to what I'm doing in school. So it all goes hand in hand.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, Victor, can you explain the SAVE movement and how its 4 pillars work together to create lasting change?
Yeah, so the acronym ASEZ stands for Save the Earth from A to Z, but even the SAVE contains the pillars of ASEZ. S is for social awareness, which is to bring the issue to the forefront. One thing we learn is that majority of students don't even know what the Sustainable Development Goals are, but after partnering with ASEZ, they get to understand that these are, the criteria that the UN put out for us to make a change and make the world more sustainable. Even what is sustainability? A lot of students are not aware of this. So the awareness part is just bringing awareness to the issue, and that is the A. Victim relief is helping in the time of disaster. And when disaster strikes, all these causes come to nothing. The important thing is to take care of the disaster at that moment. So then victim relief is essential to that. And naturally, environmental protection, as we're facing this crisis of climate change, is finding ways through which all of us can take part in the solution and to reduce the problem so that we can make it better. So social and awareness and victim relief, environmentalism, they come together to be able to carry out and make the world better for everyone.
And I'm curious, for the students' perspective, whenever we talk about climate change, we often talk about the future, and this is going to be your future, of course. So, can you explain, what the movement means to you and what impact it's having on you?
Right. So you hear all about climate change, global warming in schools from your professors. However, climate change is a broad spectrum. It comes with a lot of different things. And so you can hear about it, but not know where to start. And so that's where I think ASEZ comes into play, because it lets students, those who are passionate about, the home that we'll live in a few years from now, and those who are passionate about it can take the initiative by joining ASEZ. And that's why I think it's perfect that in ASEZ, we not only take initiative, but we learn about the issues that are happening by hosting many forums, and just in general, just you get the idea of what climate change is.
And how does it, what does this movement mean for you as well?
Yeah, I would say at first, prior to me joining ASEZ, I really didn't have much knowledge on climate change. I just knew it was happening, but I wasn't sure how to put my foot in on helping. But then, as Yuriely mentioned, through the education that we learn in ASEZ, we really realized wow, this is not just something that's happening in another country, but this is happening right now in our community. Right. So it made me realize that climate change is affecting me.
Now, what are some specific ways ASEZ volunteers have provided social services to underprivileged communities around the world?
So in some parts of the world, we have the Good Student Program, which is we help students learn how to be better students. And even in other parts of the world, we help with teaching the students how to keep their community clean, teaching the students how to keep their environment clean, teaching the students of things that they can partake in, that it's an everyday thing that will help in a bigger picture. And it's mostly about education. It's helping the students understand that they can make a difference. Sometimes as a student, you see the news, you hear these problems, and where do I fit in? But in reality, is their future. The older people will eventually retire and then move on, but they're the ones that take on the problem. So having them understand that at the stage where you are, there are things you can do, and at a later stage, you can do other things, then just having that foot in front to let them and give them the tools that they need to later on be the change makers.
Now, what does a typical day in the program look like?
Good question. So we hold various forums as well as campaigns. Actually, one of ASEZ Stars campaign that we're holding this Sunday is actually called the Shoulder to Shoulder campaign, where it speaks on school violence. So as we know, school violence is very prevalent, especially in New York City. More specifically, we're speaking about the Bronx. We can see school violence being played out, in various different scenes. And so with the Shoulder to Shoulder campaign, students are able to communicate and discuss and ultimately create a plan on how to create a warmer and safer environment at our schools. And so with the activities that we carry out, we try to carry once a month, But it's not a one-time thing. It's a thing that you carry on. And that's what I like about ASEZ, is that it develops character, and good character that can influence your community into becoming a brighter community.
And with that being said, Elisa, how has ASEZ helped you develop leadership skills, and how do you apply them in your daily life?
Oh, that's really good. So ASEZ really has pushed me out of my comfort zone, I would say. Because I feel like, in school and in my personal life, I've been a leader, but with ASEZ, I really took on the role of what a leader actually means, like having to organize cleanup events, having to communicate with public officials, and most importantly, being able to work together in a team goes really hand in hand with strong leadership skills. So ASEZ is very diverse. It's a lot of personalities, a lot of people from different backgrounds and ethnic groups. So it's having to work together, being united. So it really taught me the importance of being a good listener. That comes a part of being a leader, being organized, and also being organized whenever things can be a bit chaotic. Because when it comes to like event planning, things could go a little crazy. But being composed within all of that and making sure that everyone has a say.
That's amazing. And I've actually seen, ASEZ, at work, in the streets. I had the privilege, a few years ago to see one of the cleanups, and I remember what was told to me, and it was in an effort to kind of help people in the neighborhood feel safer. Can you explain a little bit more about the thinking behind when you have a cleaner neighborhood, you just automatically feel a little bit safer?
Right. So it's part of the Reduce Crime campaign. So the Reduce Crime campaign tackles crime by giving the community a way to respond to it, which is to make the community cleaner. So studies have shown that cleaner communities have a reduction in crime. And so the people in the neighborhood partaking in making the community cleaner eventually will trigger a safer environment. So that's the Reduce Crime Together campaign. So it started with cleanups around colleges and universities in an effort to improve the living condition in that area, but then eventually translated to neighborhoods where our students live. And so when everyone puts a hand in, then they become more conscious, as we've seen again and again, even here in the Bronx. I mean, in the past 4 years, we've cleaned about 20.5 tons of garbage, just student-led volunteer efforts. And some of the areas we clean have maintained themselves clean because the residents themselves took part in the cleaning. And the students themselves are become vocal and then become conscious. After they clean, then they think twice before throwing that wrapper or, so they try to maintain it. So in that way, we can help the environment and the community become safer and better for everyone.
Right, and I want to add that I've seen the cleanups, and there's a lot of trash bags with a lot of garbage in it. So it really shows that a lot of effort is being put into that. And I think just walking, through the street, you can see the effort that is being put in that. So I guess on behalf of the community, I would say thank you for the work that you're doing. Now, with that, how would you help other young people kind of be involved in an organization like this, or how do you encourage young people who may want to be, on their phone or do things that they find a little bit more fun? How would you encourage them to kind of make a meaningful impact in their community?
I think what makes ASEZ unique is that it includes young students, and I think that's not something that you see very common. If you do, it is volunteer activity, but not very volunteer, since it might feel like a chore or like a job. But what ASEZ does is that not only does it inform you on these issues, but we take the initiative, and you are around people that have the same passion as you. So the reason why we carry out these activities is because there are passionate students that want to take the action right now. And so what ASEZ Star is perfect in applying these values to the community is that these students want to take action right now to make a better future for us that are going to be residing here on Earth for a few years.
And would you expand on that? What would you say to another young person who may see the work that you're doing, but maybe a little bit hesitant to join?
I will say what I love about ASEZ is that, because people, they hear about ASEZ and think, oh, we only do cleanup. So we do a variety of different things. Like a common event that we do here, like on campus, is we have like our DIY tote bag event where you paint your own tote bags. We have peace concerts. Like there's different sectors among ASEZ where you may feel you don't fit in here, but you will fit in a different area. So even though, let's say you may think, oh, maybe cleaning up is not my thing, but just you joining a small on-campus event, you'll be able to fit in. So that's what I love about ASEZ, is that you're gonna fit in no matter what personality you have or what skills that you have.
Now I'm curious to hear From all of you, why is youth involvement crucial in addressing global issues such as poverty, climate change, and disaster recovery?
I think they have the biggest stake in the big picture of things because they're the ones inheriting in the problem. And I feel that starting at a young age to understand the issue, it might help them understand what the issue is, and they could be the solution makers of the future. They could be the ones who come together and hold hands and understand, hey, this is all our problem. So that's why I feel that the youth is the most crucial to take in this action, and is the loudest voice in the room because it's theirs to inherit. So I feel that youth involvement is crucial to this whole issue.
It might feel overwhelming to hear a lot about the disasters and the things that are going to happen, let's say, in the next 10 years. But when you take that initiative and you join ASEZ, you really feel a sense of comfort because you know that at least by picking up that one wrapper, it's preventing at least 1 year of, global, the global crisis that we're going through. And that's why youth involvement is super important because you may think that, global warming is happening, all these crises are happening, and you leave it up to the scientists and the people that are at a higher ranking than you. But little do you know, you can be a small town girl, but, you can just be one person. But when you join a group of people that have that same aspiration to better the world, then you don't feel alone. You feel like just by doing this one thing, you're creating a change.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Like, the youth is the future. So if we don't take action now, we can't wait until later because once it comes, we're gonna be in even a worse position. So what I love about ASEZ is our slogan, the future starts here, because it's starting right here now at the present moment. And we really want to be the ones that are the change makers. We want to inspire others to really take action about climate change. And what I love about ASEZ is that we always do it united, and we want to make sure that everyone is included in our mission.
That's amazing. Now, where can people go if they want to join, they want to make a difference? Where can they go to sign up or learn more?
So we have our social media handles and our Instagram at ASEZ East Coast and our Twitter and our Facebook, right? So they can message us and then they can learn what the next, because it's not just here in the Bronx, we're all over the world and in Brooklyn and Manhattan and all throughout the boroughs. So they can just follow us on our social media handles and then they can learn their next project near their neighborhood.
All right, well, I want to thank you all so much for joining us and talking about your mission.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We have to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.